Okay. Won't go to sleep. Oh hey, I have color back. Well, sort of. Shit, maybe I'm getting better.
Cognitive function test. Solve the cube.
Several weeks, tensions between Arasaka Corp and Militech escalated to troubling levels. Many pundits and analysts warned of a possible outbreak of armed conflict. The exacerbation of tensions was heightened when Yorinobu Arasaka assumed leadership following his father's death and accused Militech of his murder. However, in an unexpected shift, the return of Saburo Arasaka appears to have diffused the situation between the rival megacorporations.
継続は力なり。荒坂社の基本理念です。息子の頼信はこの言葉を忘れ、焦って変化を求めすぎました。私が敵味方両者に説き続けてきた教訓。完璧なものを変える必要はない。これが真理なのです。以上となります。
Saburo Arasaka and NUS President Rosalind Myers have agreed to meet in person to lay the groundwork for a lasting peace. A first step of goodwill was taken today as the Arasaka CEO withdrew from Night City 15 armored vehicles from the company.
Hey, listen. These tests gonna go on much longer.
We need very precise data.
I can't stand this anymore.
Cognitive function
So
test.
I wonder if they're doing this for me or in case he ever has issues.
Please sit up. Respond to the key words. No thinking, just the first word that comes to mind. Loyalty.
No idea.
Oh, that's fast.
Please respond to each term with the first thing that comes to mind.
I hate these.
Quick as I can, no thinking. Right.
Why can't I just do the cue?
Humanity.
Hey.
I don't know.
Please step onto the treadmill. As quickly as you can, without thinking about it.
So is this maybe where I need to, yep,
No.
start taking control?
Cognitive function test. Solve the cube.
Fuck! No, enough! I've had it! Fucking hate this place!
Not really sure I wanna. my face. We'll shove things off the desk easily. Okay, that was a bit more extreme than I was looking for. Subtle note, I don't like it here.
Good morning. Please get up.
Didn't expect to see you here, of all people.
Life is full of surprises. Someone really ought to clean this mess up.
What do you want?
They asked me to speak to you.
Fine. So what do you have to tell me?
I fear I'm the bearer of bad news. Listen to me. The procedure was a success. We removed the biochip. But the damage it wrought proved enormous. At the genetic level, altered DNA. The kind you would find in those suffering from radiation sickness. And sadly, it's lethal.
No. I don't believe you.
The test results are unequivocal.
You could still be wrong.
Were I you, I would place my hopes elsewhere. All the options have yet to be exhausted.
What other options are there? Already gone under the knife once.
Arasaka Corporation has the capability to cheat death. All we require from you is a dose of trust.
Trusted you once already. Fat lot of good that did me.
You may join our pilot program. Secure your soul. I fear your body is no longer of any use. You must abandon it. We will create an engram of your mind and store it in Mikoshi.
Store it. Why can't I just get a new body?
We have yet to solve the compatibility issue.
Doesn't sound like you had much of a problem with Saburo Arasaka.
You have no offspring, nor do you have an entire clinic focused solely on your care.
So let's say I agree. Land in Arasaka's soul prison, put myself at their mercy. Do I even need to ask about the catch?
All is set forth in a contract, guaranteed therein. You must merely sign it. If you wish to live, that is. Now, since a digitized psyche is not legally an individual, the contract entails relinquishing your rights. A temporary measure, naturally.
No. Not about to become the property of Arasaka Corp.
Current participants of the program are all well-known, influential people. We have yet to receive any complaints.
And if I refuse?
Your belongings are packed. A shuttle will take you back to Earth, and you will be dead before winter. It's no easy decision, I know. You should think it through carefully. There are no legal loopholes, no fine print. You have nothing to fear.
I mean, that's also what a corp would want you to think.
Have you made your decision?
Live or go back to Earth.
Have you made your decision?
Because if I was in this situation, I find the construct of having your psyche uploaded kind of neat, but against my better judgment, let's do it.
I want to live.
As do most. There's no point in delay. We can begin immediately.
See you in the future, I hope.
Yes, see you. Our staff will take it from here.
Hey, what's your name?
Hazme.
Hajime, let me ask you something. What would you say to a person who walked right into their greatest foe's jail to save their life?
I would say, all right, but do not forget the way home.
Damn, that was well made. That was really well made.
Hey V, how's the Earth looking from way up there? She as pretty as they say? Or is that just another lie? Listen, don't forget, your implants were made for Earth gravity. Could start acting up in orbit. What I'm trying to say is, don't ignore any error warnings, okay? And when you're back, I mean, if you come back, I'll do a full checkup. Maybe even give you a little discount. Take care, V.
Hey, V. Everyone's telling me you're a base gordo now. A big shot, eh? So big you can't call me once a week. Once a month, even. Don't forget where you started. Who'd you started with, My door's always open to you, V. There's always food on my table. Mi casa es su casa. No se te olvide. Ahí te veo, V.
Hey, V. I was just wondering how you've been. Haven't heard from you in a while.
Still living large in Night City? I don't know. All I think about is dropping everything and leaving. Yet, here I am, still. Oh, the city's like quicksand. The more you try to get out, the more it pulls you in. Once you're up to your knees, you're never getting out. Like Evelyn. Anyway. Look out for yourself, okay? And call me sometime. Bye.
Hey, V. It's Pan Am. Remember me? The one with the car? Listen, you wouldn't happen to have any gigs to spare, would you? I'm not picky or anything. I'll take whatever pays the rent. If you've got something, or you know someone who does, give me a call, okay? I'd really appreciate it. So, yeah, that's it. Catch you sometime in the afterlife, maybe.
Hello, V. Saul speaking. Heard about something big happening in Night City. With a certain V in the lead role. Don't know what that was all about or what you got going on. But if you ever need a hand, our camp's your second home. I will never forget what you did for us. And for me. It's a debt I'm happy to owe you. Head up, eyes forward, V.
V, hey! Can you hear me? Shit, is this thing recording? Okay, well, all of us have been wondering when you're finally gonna drop by. We can get a barbecue going, knock a few back, do a couple of races, or pay a friendly visit to the Raff and Shiv. Guess what I'm trying to say is, well, Badlands could use a badass like you, V. Don't know what you got on your plate right now, but remember, you're welcome out here anytime. All right, now, take care.
Gotta hand it to you, V. I'm impressed. When you told me you were gonna go after Hellman, I was sure you'd come back as a garbage bag full of smithereens. But you didn't. I'm not usually wrong about people and what they're capable of. I'm curious to see what else you've got in ya. If you're looking for your next job, you know where to find me.
Hey, V. Orbital connections cost an arm and a leg, so I'll just get right to it. I was just thinking about you, so I laid out a quick tarot and... Oh dear. The Fool, the Moon, the High Priestess. Those are bad cards. Keep a close eye on your new friends, V. I mean it.
Damn. So...
We had to pay the price.
It's interesting that... Let me turn this music down just a tad. It's interesting that they paved... That was, I don't know, it's an interesting choice, because... and they played that feeling of, like... You know, you lay in that chair and it's like... You have all these feelings of, like, am I actually, like... Is this it? Like, are you actually dying? And it's just interesting because, like, in that situation, wouldn't you just... I don't know. It's interesting. That's an interesting choice. Because I know then you're like, you're technically, you know, you're a property then. But it's very interesting to think that one day we'll have the technology that will be able to just upload our being and, you know, and get new bodies. And but it's interesting that, like, so if we hadn't have stole that chip, I can't remember because that was several months ago that I started playing this. I can't remember if we had an option to do that or not, to do that mission. So, like, is it possible for us to just not have done it? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe? But I feel like that would have kind of put a hole. But I don't know how many different endings there is to this. I know that there's different roles and stuff. I don't know if maybe a different role would have ended up with a different ending. But they, that chip was intended for him the first go, right? But we, you know, we broke in and stole it instead. I know this game got a lot of shit for being buggy, but it's a pretty cool piece of art. So, props to all these guys. And it'll be fixed, it's just a matter of time. But it interests me if that's a common ending. Because I feel like they were really painting the picture not to do that. Like, they seem to really play about lending yourself to the corporations is a bad thing. And maybe it was. But yeah, it has me curious of, is there even, how many endings there is to this? And if I got a common one. Because I feel like I made a lot of decisions that it was heavily trying to tell me not to, I feel like. But I don't know if that was the intention. Because maybe they wanted me to go against what everybody else wanted. You know, as the, like, meta, I guess, technically. I'm wondering if maybe I didn't kind of misunderstand what they were saying there. So does that mean I would be like what happened to Alt? You just give yourself up so you can live, but like you don't actually get a new body. You're basically in a cyber prison. Because that would be interesting. Then does the corporation ever give you a option to like become a new person ever? I mean, obviously you didn't have any relatives or anything, so you couldn't like take over a body, but like you could have one built. Like, that's really interesting to me, is the fact that we could one day upload our psyche and then download it to a whole new, like, automated body that we could control and stuff. but I also understand the level of corruption that could happen with that, which I think they were hitting on pretty hard here throughout the game, is just how corrupt something like that could get. Because, I mean, shoot, corporations now can't even tell us the truth half the time. So, imagine if they were dealing with actual people's psyche. And now that I think about it, the more control that you can get doing that as well. Because, like, what would keep a rogue corporation from, I guess, preying on people like I just was, uploading people that, you know, that don't have further predecessors, and like, if you do that long enough, you could have like an army of just people that you own. And I don't know, I could just imagine, like, you have this prison of like online psyches, and you're owned by a corp. So the only way that you're ever going to get back to the Earth is if that corp allows you to, for lack of a better word, install yourself onto a new, like robot, for instance. You're still the corp's property, right? So, like, they could put you in a robot under the circumstances that, hey, you do what we want you to do 24/7, or else you'll go back to non-existing. I mean, you're still existing, technically. It's interesting. It's an interesting topic. And it's actually interesting now that I think about it. I picked the Corpo storyline. And I ended by giving the Corpo my life, technically. Ooh, that's interesting. So I'm sure that's a point on its own as well, as like, you know, if you're, I mean, they made jokes very often throughout the game that, like, you know, you can't take the Corpo out of the Corpo, you know? Interesting. And everybody along the way tried to get me out, make my own decisions, not let the Corpo do. Interesting. Also interesting how the second, because we went through what I presume are days and days of those tests that they were doing in the lab, and not once did they give me an option to do what I did until I started acting out. Dang. It's an interesting ending. Lots of things to think about. Because, like, they don't, the amount of time that they give you is which maybe in itself is another, like, because, you know, if you have yourself or a family member that's, like, on that brink of death, you know, you don't have time, you don't have much time to think about whether it's a good idea to give them to a corp or keep them in your life and ride it out, so to speak. Damn, it's interesting to think about. Because that can also be corrupt, you know, like, you know, everyone hates losing a family member. And it's like how easy it would be for a corp to, like, swoop in and, like, hey, you sign this document and you can have your loved one for ever. But it's like, do you really? It's also interesting to think about what you would feel, if anything, if you were in this quote-unquote, like, Corpo prison or cyber prison. It's like, are you still aware of stuff, or would it be like you're asleep and you don't technically remember or are aware of anything? And I mean, of course, you could ask the question that's like, if your psyche gets converted to just, you know, ones and zeros, are you actually still yourself? Because I know it's always been intriguing to me, the idea of uploading your psyche. Kind of like, I think it was Black Mirror had an episode similar to that idea, didn't they? I think it was Black Mirror. But it's just that idea has kind of always intrigued me. So that's why I kind of like, you know, when put under pressure, kind of gravitize towards that option. Is just because that's always, you know, that's interesting to me to kind of think about. Because there's a lot of unknowns there. Like, how if it'll even be possible. And if it is, what kind of... what's it like? I mean, because you could... I mean, it kind of... I guess it would... how you think about that would be on your... what you believe in the real world. But, like... I mean, for instance, if you're religious and... you know, you kind of have this idea of, like, a spirit that, you know, you go to heaven or you go to hell. But, like... what if it's just black? And you, like... you don't feel anything, you don't remember anything, you don't exist. You exist, but you don't have consciousness, I guess, would be the way to put that. You can save the psyche, but you can't save the consciousness. So you wouldn't, right? You wouldn't feel anything. It'd just be like you were dead. Unless you got put in a new body. And then even then, are you really still you? Or are you just a copy of what we saved of you? So like a real person, you know, they can They can learn and they can change. And it's like, well, if AI gets good enough, can't they do that? Yeah, but if you put... If we got to the point where we could copy psyches, and like, we copied a guy and put him in a robot right beside the same living person, and just like, let them do what they want to do, would they turn out even remotely the same? I doubt it. It's interesting to think about. I don't think they would become even remotely the same. But so are you really you when you get copied into the... I don't know. It's interesting. It's crazy how many people worked on this. And I know I rushed. Well, rushed didn't really. I kind of just went through the main story. So, well, because I made my comment back when we lost Jackie, that, man, I wish they'd have dwelled on that a little bit more, make that, because it was powerful, and I felt like they could have put just a little bit more into that, and it would have been really moving. But I wonder if maybe there's some side missions and extra stuff that I could have done just that. Because there's a lot of side missions I didn't do, and there's a whole heck of a lot of stuff that I didn't do. I know there's jobs all over the place, and you can interact with the police, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't do. That maybe if I did, that decision would have weighed a little heavier. Like, maybe that decision would have been a little bit more emotional if I had sank down into the world a little bit more, if that makes sense. I don't know, it's really interesting. The scene where V's getting into that chair, that's powerful, because it's like, it's almost like you're getting ready to die, but it doesn't feel like it, because I mean, you're not ill. I mean, maybe mentally a bit, but you were able to walk into the room, you're breathing fine, and you got all this equipment and doctors around you, and it's like, it just kind of sinks in. You are literally jumping into the unknown. It just, that scene was really, really, really well done. There's the end. Congrats, you've completed the main storyline of Cyberpunk. But remember, the Night City never sleeps. There's still so much to see and do. You can continue from your last open world checkpoint, where you will have a special reward waiting for you. Would you like to keep playing? You've completed the main storyline. You will find special rewards waiting for you in your inventory. Note, if any of the rewards you earn are cyberware, you will have to visit a Ripper Dock to use them.
Carajo! Some people!
So yeah, you just go back. I wondered how they were going to do this. But yeah, that left it wide open for a possible sequel, I think. I mean, they could. I mean, that could be a good standalone by itself as well. But I feel like there's so much they could do off of how the end of my story went anyway. Maybe that's less likely with other story endings if they end different. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to play any more recording wise. If there's some stuff that you want me to do that I missed, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your take on the whole uploading, downloading your psyches, giving them to Corpse. Yeah. Start a discussion in the comments, because there's quite a discussion to be had with that. And with that, that is Cyberpunk 2077. What a ride. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Love you guys. See you in the next one.